want to talk about is how you go from a supported charity to what I call a brand charity. And so we're going to look at some interesting ways of thinking about your personality and corporate personalities. The brand is the ruling story of an enterprise. Every enterprise has a creation myth, the story of how the founders started and what their values were and what their hopes and dreams were. And throughout every organization there are stories, and those stories create a personality that researchers have categorized into archetypes. Margaret Mark is a marketing consultant from New York who wrote a book called The Hero and the Outlaw. In The Hero and the Outlaw, she identified 12 archetypes. Archetypes are personality types from the earliest of recorded history to the present. She identified 12. I worked with her on a project with a company that I'm going to talk to you about to first of all identify the brand archetype of that organization, what that personality was, and then what the brand charity that would fit with that archetype would be, to create this kind of shared meeting, to create this kind of exciting, loving pizzazz between or among employees, customers, and even analysts on Wall Street. So if we look at it, archetypes work on the tensions between two poles that create four quadrants. So in the first quadrant, or the first pole, is stability and certainty weighed against risk and mastery. That means that most human beings seek stability and certainty, but we also are willing to take some risk, and we like to master new things. On the other side is belonging and enjoyment, which we all obviously want to have part of our life, but we also want to have fulfillment and independence. So some of these tensions, like, gosh, I want to feel a sense of belonging, but I want my independence, are always in tension. This is the world we live. In those quadrants exist archetypes. And those archetypes are we can easily identify strong brands with certain archetypes. So if we go in the upper right quadrant, the creator brand brings together stability and fulfillment. An example of that would be Martha Stewart. She certainly brings about stability. She's got rules for everything, right? But within those rules, she's really creative. So she has a very strong brand. When we think Martha Stewart, we really get it. We really get what that brand stands for. The next brand archetype would be the ruler brand. A ruler brand is somebody who sets the rules, dominant, sort of world famous, world renowned. So Microsoft is a ruler brand. American Express is a ruler brand. They kind of set the stage. Now, if we look at strong charities and we go back to the creator, we can think of Bill and Melinda Gates. They are creating a new way of doing a new way of doing foundation philanthropy. They're really focused on eradicating diseases, particularly in Africa, and education. They're being very creative in how they do it, but the rock of stability. So a ruler brand in a charity might be the United Way. They're in every community. They've kind of set a context. They kind of had a stamp of approval on local charities. It's sort of safe to give through the United Way. Now the sage, obviously, the great icon of the sage, that's Obi-Wan Kenobi, that's Yoda, or it's Oprah, right? So a sage brand in a nonprofit sense might be schools. That'd be an obvious sage brand. The innocent is interesting because the innocent is trying to give you fulfillment and safety and security with a sense of purity. So farmers markets are innocent brands. And so when you go from the farmers market to a product line like Cliff Bar, that's an innocent brand. It comes in a brown paper rack. It's 70% organic. It's a private company. They've resisted the corporate turnover. Oh, and they even actually make energy bars just for women. I mean, that's a brand that cares. See, it's an energy brand. It's totally different from like a Gatorade or a Power Bar. It's the innocent brand. And see, we can completely identify that. The Grameen Bank is an innocent brand. In other words, we're going to create stability and independence in people who can't afford to access capital. Very strong brands. Every organization I've mentioned is a very, very strong brand. Hero brands. FedEx, an ultimate hero brand. We're going to do it positively overnight. That commercial's been off the air for about 12 years. We still remember it. We'll do anything to get it to you. Heart to Heart is a hero brand. Almost anybody who provides relief aid, rescue aids, the first responders, hero brand. Outlaw, MTV, Harley Davidson, Greenpeace, Earth First. See, even in charities, there's outlaw brands. The Magician, Google, we're going to transform your life with the tip of a computer. Apple's a great magician brand. You want music? You want a computer that doesn't weigh anything? We create magic. Disney is a great Make-A-Wish Foundation, terrific magician brand. Explorer, obviously Jeep's a great brand for the Explorer. Outside Magazine, typical Explorer brand. Surf Aid, just up the coast here, is eradicating malaria in Indonesia on islands that nobody ever goes to. But they're surf-rich islands, so surfers come in boats, and they're committed to go on shore with doctors and nurses and education. But it's the exploration. It's the most exciting thing we could do. You see how people just grab it? Oh, boy, that'd be my kind of, I want to give money to that charity because what am I? I'm a surfer. I'm an adventurer. I'm an outdoors guy. I don't want to, I don't want to give money to the United Way. That's just too, but Surf Aid, see, that's me. It's me. See, so I'm identifying with these things. Caregiver brands. Credit unions are caregiver brands. They're local. Mayo Clinic, hospitals, caregiver brands. So American Red Cross could either be a hero brand or a caregiver brand, depending on your view of them. It fits into that whole thing. Regular guy, regular gal, Ben and Jerry's, just two guys in Vermont. We're going to go milk the cows ourselves. That way we know it's pure. See? Lover brands. Victoria's Secret, Calvin Klein Calvin Klein Scents, obvious lover brands, but Godiva chocolates. And the ultimate Jester brand. See, the Jester brand is all about enjoyment and risk. So, Las Vegas is the ultimate Jester brand. You go to Las Vegas and really act up, and the joke will be on you. See? All the beer brands are Jester brands. And there are charities that fit into all of those cases. Now, these companies already exist. The question is, who are you? If you're a nonprofit, what's your brand? Are you a Greenpeace type? You're angry? You're going to take matters into yourself? You're going to sail the boats right in front of the whaling vessels? Is that who you are? Are you trying to teach and educate? Are you more of a sage brand? Are you more of a hero? You're going to come to the rescue? Who are you? Now, the reason this is important is when you want corporate partnership, you need to link up who you are at your authentic core with an organization that reflects the same brand. Now, you'll say, gosh, well, there's a lot of companies, I don't really know what their strong brand is. They don't have one. It's muddled. And you can help them. You can help them get clear on their brand in the way that you approach them with your program in your brand. And if they respond to it, then that's really a win-win.